Okay, we're gonna get started. Well, welcome everyone. Today we will be talking a little bit about facilities and equipment. If you are able to, if you could put your name and then your district in the chat for our speakers, and we'll go ahead and get started because we have a bit of a packed agenda today. So we have two speakers with us. We have Juan Zamorano from San Diego Unified and Yuri Sinal from Boulder Valley School District. And Juan, are you on the call right now? Think I saw your name.
Mm, I see Yuri. I am not sure I see Juan.
I know he usually joins us it's usually not his name, so that's
Mm.
I just saw the Zoom name he normally has. Okay, well, if Juan's not here, Yuri, we might start with you just to keep things going. So we'll start with Yuri, and Yuri, I could pass it over to you if you want to introduce yourself, and I know you'll be talking a little bit about Boulder Valley School District's central kitchen and model, so I'll just pass it over to you.
Um, okay, so I'm starting. Is that what I heard?
Yes, if that is okay with you, just while we're waiting for Juan to join, and then Marta, if you wouldn't mind, just maybe sending Juan a message.
Sure.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Yuri. I'm the executive chef for Boulder Valley School District. I do have a presentation. This is going to be the second challenge here. Every one of these is different. Share. All right, maybe. All right, can you all see that?
Hmm.
All right.
Yes, and then if you want to just click slideshow, just so we could see the slides in full screen.
Or let's see.
Over on the right side, over by the share. Yep, right there. That should.
Okay,
Perfect. Thank you.
so we're going to talk today about the central kitchen. I think you all watched the video. That video was shot like 6 years ago, so most of it is still true, but at that point in time, like we didn't know everything. We're still learning. So I'm going to try to show you some stuff or talk to you about some stuff that maybe isn't in that video, just so it's not a repeat. So if you're not familiar, Boulder Valley, Boulder, Colorado is um, surrounded by Denver to our south, Jefferson County Public Schools to our east. Those are the two largest school districts in Colorado. We comprise 5,000, or I'm sorry, 500 square miles from the mountains. We have mountain schools. We go out to the plains. We have farmland, urban land, very diverse community, but also pretty affluent, um, pretty low, free and reduced. However, Boulder is, I'm not sure why it keeps doing that, but Boulder is, I'm sorry, Colorado is a universal free meal state. That was passed a couple years ago now, and it was more successful than anybody had realized, which means it was underfunded to start with. However, in November, Colorado voters voted to fully fund universal free meal for all, which means every student in Colorado gets a free breakfast, free lunch, doesn't matter how much mom and dad make, you're entitled to eat while you're at school. So that's great. And what that has meant for us is our participation has increased by about almost 50% in the past 3 years. So a huge jump. We went from serving roughly 8,000 lunches, maybe 10,000 total meals a day to 17,000 uh, almost overnight. So, and we have an enrollment of about 27,000. So enrollment is decreasing ever so slightly, but our meal counts, our participation is going up year over year. So that's good news. We have a strong focus on buying local. We purchase about 40% of all of our products locally, which, if you're not familiar with Colorado, that's kind of a big deal. Like, you know, we don't have the longest growing season. This year has been an exception. We've been getting farm fresh produce basically up until about 2 weeks ago, but that's pretty rare. But 40%. 5 years ago or 6 years ago, before we opened the Culinary Center, we were at about 20%. And if you asked me back then uh, how I felt about that, I would have said we were doing pretty good. So the Culinary Center, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, has actually allowed us to do more. We have more storage space. We have equipment that can process a lot of this. Um, we have a central facility where some of these small local vendors only have one place to deliver to as opposed to 56 places, which they simply can't do in a lot of cases. So it's given us opportunity to purchase even more local. Clean labels, no added colors, dyes, high fructose corn syrup, that sort of stuff. Scratch cooking. So um, if buying local and clean labels are kind of the pillars of our program, scratch cooking is really like the foundation. It's what allows us to do so much of uh, what we find valuable. It allows us to add local products to recipes. It allows us to control every ingredient that goes in those recipes. So because we cook from scratch, about 75% of everything we cook is from scratch. We can control all those other variables. Um, Salad bars, we have salad bars at all 56 schools. We send out salad bar twice a week from the Culinary Center. So the vegetables come into the Culinary Center, they get washed, they get processed, either julienned or shredded or diced or whatever, and they go out to salad bars. We have a grain salad that rotates monthly, and our dressings also come from the Culinary Center. We ranch every uh, every week, all year long. We have ranch, and then we have a rotating vinaigrette that's dairy-free, gluten-free on our salad bars every day. We also do bulk milk, so we allow students to choose how much milk. They can have as much milk as they want. They can also have as much salad bar as they want. That's unlimited. No canned or highly processed produce. We only use fresh produce, or in some cases frozen, but mostly fresh produce. The next one I'm really proud of, and again, this is because we scratch cook, we're able to offer daily dairy-free, gluten-free, and egg-free options along with a vegetarian option. And this is really important. Um, it was kind of a mission of mine. It doesn't always play nicely with USDA regulations, especially dairy free, because cheese is such a readily available, cheap protein. Um, but so many of our students, especially the ones that really need the universal free meals, our underserved populations, um, have higher lactose intolerance, right? And a lot of times gluten intolerance. So we felt it was our job to figure out how to feed as many students as possible. Because doesn't it suck that free meals are, meals are free, but oh, you can't have them because you can't have dairy. So every day we offer something that is dairy free, gluten free, or can be made dairy free and gluten free, egg free, and there's always been a vegetarian option on our menu. And then we opened up the Culinary Center in 2020. Previous to that, we were in Juan. I think if he's on, he'll talk about his model. And it was more similar to Juan's model. We had these satellite kitchens, each one cooked for about 10 to 12 schools, about 2 to 3,000 meals. And then the food was satellited from these regional kitchens that were based out of high schools, basically, larger school kitchens. So keep in mind that none of this happens overnight. Uh, you know, we're learning every day, and this 15 years ago, well, it's more like 16, 17 years ago now. This is what a meal looked like at Boulder Valley School District. This was a meal: chocolate milk, frozen corn, some kind of commercially made pizza. Um, now, and on the right hand side, you're looking at um, this was our Colorado Proud meal from last year, and every single thing on this tray is local. So the potatoes come from Jones Farms, which is Southern Colorado. Our bread, we do not bake, but our bread is made by a local bakery. Super clean label. Beef comes from Legacy Meats, Ben Elliott, the rancher there, was actually a Boulder high school graduate. Uh, if you don't know, there's not there's not a lot of Boulder high school graduates that become ranchers. It's kind of unique, but he's now able to give back to the school system that raised him. Even our lettuce comes from Calera, which is a vertical indoor. It's not really hydroponic, but it's an indoor grow um, warehouse, and it's located in a food desert in Denver, which is really cool. Uh, our beans come from 3 miles away, Vantine Farms. The apples come from across the state. So basically, every corner of the state is represented on this meal tray here. So why centralize? Why, if you would ask me 6 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been as huge a proponent, but really I feel like this is the ideal model. Um, Not just for a district our size. I think bigger school districts could benefit, smaller districts could get together and benefit, but really it is a pretty ideal model. So first is large scale scratch cooking. So the facility was designed to do this. Even those regional kitchens that we retrofitted with a bunch of restaurant style equipment were over capacity, right? And the culinary center was built to do everything that we're doing now and then some. We feel like we still have capacity to grow. So it's a specialized kitchen designed to do exactly what you want it to do. And you're not retrofitting some kitchen to hope that it can do that. Facility, capacity, equipment. Reduce maintenance. So all of our really big, expensive equipment is in one place, and we have a maintenance person between him, myself, uh, my cooks and sous chefs who help maintain the equipment. We're able to PM, do preventative maintenance on that equipment, and keep it going. And then at our sites, it's much simpler. It's a steamer, a retherm, a holding cabinet, steam wells. That's basically it, and some refrigeration. That's all they need. So we're able to kind of centralize that equipment and that cost and the cost of maintaining that equipment. Increase commitment to food safety. This is something I could do a whole nother presentation about, but really we have this um, pretty strict, serious food safety plan at the central kitchen, and I can oversee that and I can hold people accountable. Um, we can give them ownership over certain tasks, and I can make sure that they're doing those tasks. So um, we can do that there, and then what we can do is kind of simplify. It's no less important, but we can simplify the food safety plans at the sites. Uh, and what that means is it's easier to do at the sites, right? So we can have this really kind of strict plan um, at the culinary center, and then a more easy to follow, easy to accomplish plan at our 56 sites. So, so we're able to increase our food safety that way. Uh, Three best reasons to centralize: consistency, consistency, consistency. I'm sure you know at your districts, however it's run, however many kitchens you're cooking in, that's how many different recipes you have, right? On any given day. And I know that even in the regional kitchens, we had 3 regional kitchens, and I would get 3 different products from each individual kitchen. Everyone is a little bit different. The equipment's different. The people making the dishes are different. The way they read the recipes is different. In the central kitchen, nothing comes in, nothing goes out without myself or my sous chefs visually inspecting it, tasting it, making sure it's right. And if it's not right, we can fix it before it goes out to the sites. So that's probably the number one biggest benefit to centralizing. Food costs, there's a bunch of food cost savings. I kind of mentioned it before, but one of the biggest food cost savings is we had a lot of vendors that simply could not bid when we went out to bid because they could not deliver to 56 sites. Now that we're in one location, they can do that. They have enough trucking, enough trucks to get us food to one place. They just couldn't do it to 56 places. So we save food costs there. We're able to buy in bulk, which helps us save. And then we're also able to buy things like dry beans, which are really cheap. We just couldn't cook them before. And now we have the equipment, the storage areas, so we can buy and cook some of those types of products. Minimize labor cost. We were able to cut some labor. We have the equipment that kind of helps automate the process in a lot of times. Just real quick, you saw that bagging machine. That's probably the number one labor saving thing that we have in the whole culinary center. That task of portioning, panning, wrapping, and labeling used to take three kitchens. Every single person in that kitchen, the better part of the morning, probably 2 or 3 hours every morning. So 15 people, 2 or 3 hours every morning to do that piece. And now it takes one person or two people, and it takes about an hour. So it just completely automated that process. And then centralized warehousing. So we have tons of storage. I think you saw that in the video. So we're able to buy more, store more, have it on hand. It's really helped us out a lot, especially, um, you know, school districts buy a lot of food and companies run out of food. So we're able to kind of like warehouse, be our own warehouse and have this food available in those times when other districts are maybe looking for other products because they can't get the product that they normally get. And then, like I said, another great reason to centralize is we can bring all this farm fresh stuff in. This is all from this year. We got like 6 different colors of green beans and all kinds of different zucchini and cucumbers. And there's no less than 4 farms tomatoes that Silas is um, showing you there. We love that because every farm's tomatoes are a little bit different. So it offers variety on our salad bars. So we don't necessarily just buy from one farm that happens to be the cheapest. We will buy from multiple farms just because we know it's going to look great. Plus, we like to spread our money around all the farms. Just an example of some of the stuff. Many of these dishes are new this year that we're able to make from scratch in the central kitchen. Tofu chorizo tacos. We get that tofu, believe it or not, from this little rural town in southern Colorado, Trinidad, Colorado. And our tortillas also are local. Thai red curry chicken, our chicken company, we've worked with them for years and years and years, Colorado native. The chicken is not from Colorado. We simply do not have a poultry industry, but the processor is, and they bring in the chicken for us. Tempeh pad thai. We have a lot of tofu, being Boulder, we have a lot of tofu on our menu, but I really wanted to kind of introduce students to a different plant-based protein this year. And we found this uh, little house of tempeh. It's this really little tempeh company in Fort Collins, Colorado. Um, the owner there has young kids that go to school and he loved this idea. They don't go to Boulder, but he loved this idea of having his product on our menus. We featured him in our calendar, our menu calendar that all the parents get. So we love that. And we're actually going to have another tempeh dish on our menu next year. Ratatouille. So, just kind of highlights all the vegetables, late summer vegetables in one dish. And we probably have 3 or 4 different farmers that we're highlighting in that one dish. Green chili and cheese tamales. This is a good example of something we do not cook from scratch. We do not make tamales. Handwork is something that we always struggle with because it takes just as many people to make tamales as it ever did. We can make other things really, really quick. Tamales is not one of them. So we get those from La Casita. They've been around for years and years and years, and they make the best tamales in Denver. Beef bulgogi tacos. Again, that's legacy beef. That's Ben our rancher, and then veggie enchiladas is Van Tine Farms Beans, who's 3 miles down the road. And a few more pics of some of our food. Yeah, and that's it. I don't know how I did on time, but
Yeah, we have a few questions in the
great.
chat I would love to get to now, and then we'll move on to Juan, and then if there's any additional questions, we could address them at the end. But the first question is from Zane. Is there any individual equipment training when working in a centralized kitchen?
For us there was, yeah. You know, tucks, our cook chill equipment, which you saw in that video. Much of it is just like really giant looking regular restaurant equipment. So that was the learning curve on like those kettles was not that big, but connecting it to the bagger, the bagging machine specifically is something you don't learn about in culinary school. Um, so there was a learning curve there, and we did get some training. Um, and I feel like every year we get a little bit more training on some of that stuff. So yeah, absolutely. There's training involved in all of that.
Thank you. Then Robin also had a great question. Robin is from Greeley, so up the way from you.
Yep.
Was it a challenge to get the salad bar processed in the central kitchen? Here in Greeley, we have a central kitchen for a lot of our meals, but salad bars are still all done on site at the individual schools. Great question.
Yeah. Well, so again, it's important to have the right equipment. So we have some very high volume processing equipment. We have a shredder that shreds carrots and beets and radishes. We actually bought it to shred cheese, but it does all those other things. And literally, as fast as you can throw carrots in there, shredded carrots come out. And then, same manufacturer makes another machine that we use to julienne and dice a bunch of our vegetables. Um, so without that equipment, um, we had we had some really nice equipment, but it's more geared towards like restaurants, right? And we're this is more geared towards like food manufacturing. That's really what we needed to realize. Um, if you were to take a tour, right, and I invite you all, if you're in the area, especially Greeley, come on down. I will tell you that our veg wash area is the most poorly thought out room in the entire facility. There's not a whole lot going on in there. I actually just got a vegetable scrubber. Before that, the vegetable scrubber's name was Daniel, and it was a lot of work for Daniel. So we went 5 years without a vegetable scrubber, and we have vegetables and I'm sorry, we have salad bars in 56 schools. We send salad bar out twice a week. So I don't know if it was an oversight. I think it was just value engineered out. Um, but in any case, we finally got one. So we made do for a while, and now we can just do a lot more. Onion peeler, that's another thing we're looking at right now is getting an onion peeler. Anytime I see somebody pick up a knife, I feel like we're losing efficiency. So it gives me an idea of what we need to make that happen. Um, Butternut squash peeler. So there's a lot of stuff that we're still trying to get butternut squash peeler and splitter. Um, but yes, you need all of that equipment, I think, to centralize it. Yep. Good question.
Good question. And then another question from Lindsay. Can you possibly explain how soups meet dietary guidelines? Do we expect to get a few protein servings, a full vegetable serving, etc., and a cup of soup, or are they prepared in expectation of having sides to help meet that full meal?
Um, I think it depends on it definitely depends on the soup. So we've had um, a lot of success with certain soups, even vegetarian. So pho, I would consider pho a soup, right? It's a noodle soup. And it meets uh, two and two. So it's two meat, uh, vegetarian, and two grain. And the way I've been able to make that meat, because tofu does not contribute that well, right? Not as easily as other things, but edamame contributes a ton. So we combine the two, and we do that with a lot of our soups or soupier like stews, that sort of stuff. Tofu makni. We combine garbanzo beans and tofu. The two of those together, it's not a huge portion to make that meat. Um, we also have a vegetarian chili recipe that we're bringing back next year. That thing meets like that's like three um, meat alternates for a 6 ounce servings or something. It's ridiculous because it has lentils in it, and a little bit of lentils go a long way. So you can definitely make it happen. Trying to think of uh, other instances where we've had trouble. Yeah, I mean, I think you just kind of have to massage it. We always try to like, we decide, ask our students, we poll our parents, we poll our staff, what do we want to put on the menu? That's the first thing. and then how do we make it meet? And we can usually figure it out, right? Uh, what I don't want to do, which I've done working in other school districts, is, you know, crunching numbers, right? We need two meat and two grain, and what is it going to be? We make it taste delicious. We make it so the kids want to eat it, and then we figure out how to make it meat. And we've been able to do it.
And we have time for probably one more question. I know there's other questions in the chat, so Yuri, if you're also able to answer some in the chat afterwards, that'd be great. But Natalie asked, what were some of the drawbacks when you first started out? And I'm assuming in the central kitchen.
Central kitchen or just scratch cooking, maybe in general. Um, I think so. Scratch cooking is hard. I mean, I think it's easier in many ways to just find the product that has a CN label and put that on your menu. Scratch cooking is not easy, right? And it does take some skill and some knowledge and equipment, um, all of that. I think, as I said, there was a learning curve with a lot of this equipment, and we were always scared to like screw up, right? So when we had the regional kitchens, if something happened in one regional kitchen, we still had two we could kind of always fall back on, right? With the central kitchen, we don't have a plan B. We don't have a good one, and those regional kitchens have been gutted. A lot of that equipment came over to the culinary center, so we don't really have a plan B. So we were always worried about what if, what if, what if. Ann Cooper, who was the director of Boulder, her kind of like what she would always say and kind of like give me peace is like we can always cook it conventionally, right? We can always cook it the old way. We had all that equipment, so we always had to fall back like that we could cook it the old fashioned way, you know. Um, what else is hard? I don't know. I guess in we've been doing it long enough. I think it's always hard to start. Finding producers and people that are gonna sell you the food. All that stuff is hard, but again, this is now 16 years down the road. We're still learning all the time. It does get easier. I think you bite off little pieces here and there. I think salad bar, and I'm glad there's been so many questions about salad bar. That's the best place to start as far as I'm concerned, because it's minimal equipment and you start working with farms right away. So if you're not doing salad bars, plus it touches every student, right? We have salad bars in every single school, every single grade level. So that's a great place to start. And then you work up to like things like marinara and refried beans that are on, well, they're definitely on our menu like every week, right? In one form or another. They're probably on your menu every one form or another. So you bite off those things that are gonna give you the most bang for your buck. And then, you just keep going from there and it does get easier and you start buying that equipment that's going to help you do that stuff. And until you get that equipment, you just kind of figure it out. So yeah, lots of, we learned stuff today. I'm not going to lie. Like we learned stuff yesterday. So we're still learning all the time.
Thank you, Yuri. And there's a few more questions. So if you do have the ability to
Yeah.
answer in the chat, that would be great. But I want to make sure we have enough time for Juan. Juan, I know you will be talking to us a little bit about San Diego Unified's model. So Juan, I can pass it to you. If you want to introduce yourself and get us started with your presentation.
Sure, Erico. Hi, everyone. My name is Juan Zamorano. I'm the culinary specialist for San Diego Unified. San Diego Unified is the second largest school district in California, right behind LA. And are you gonna pull up my slides or should I just,
Yeah, I could pull up your slides.
yeah,
They are give me a second. They are the black slides, correct?
yeah, I like it to
Okay.
be dramatic.
Love that. Perfect. Okay, are you able to see the slides?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. And just let me know when you want me to switch slides.
sure. Yeah, let's go to the next one. So let me share a little bit of my background. I mean, I've been in food service for over 30 years. I started very young. I was a young chef. You can see that picture where I'm arranging dairy goals or something. I was very young and I still had like a sparkle in my eye, and I was very enthusiastic about artistry and things like that. It's been an amazing journey for me because I've worked across many different industries. I worked for hotels, I worked for country clubs, I worked for healthcare. Uh, I own my own catering business for over 11 years. And then I started working for San Diego Unified maybe like 15 years ago or so. And within that time span, I mean, I've done every single imaginable job there is in the food service industry, which has given me the opportunity to learn all of the little ins and outs of our craft because it is a craft. I mean, it's just amazing about how many things there are to learn, and we never stop learning. And I'm still on a learning journey. And every day I wake up, I'm very enthusiastic about knowing that probably I'm going to learn something from someone every single day. Every single day. I mean, I've also participated with the Healthy Kids Collaborative for 6 or 7 years. I'm a member of the Scratchworks committee. I'm a member of the ICN advisory board. I've done presentations representing our district. I've done webinars on cooking technology. I've participated on plant-based recipe development, all kinds of things. So it's been very, very cool and very exciting for me. Um, let's move to the next slide, please. Let me see. So let me talk about our working model here. So in our district, we have around 107,000 students. Like I said, we're the second largest district in California with 200 schools. We serve around 115,000 meals a day. We're spread out within 354 square miles, as you can see in that map. So all of that area is my playground. So I get to go and visit around 186 kitchens for different purposes at different times. Obviously, I do a lot of targeted visits. I just go to where the priorities are, where we're implementing a new program or developing a new recipe or running a new pilot of a new concept. When we remodel kitchens and we're, going to start serving again, it's quite the undertaking, not only for me but for the whole food team, because we all work in a team that we're based in a main office where everything comes out of, all of the strategy comes from. We work with a $75 million a year budget, and we serve around 115 million meals per year. And we have one of the largest farm to school programs in California. We store a lot of locally grown fruits and vegetables. We probably buy about 144,000 cases of locally sourced fruits and vegetables. And we have 19 middle schools, and we have 19 production kitchens. So our production kitchens is where we deliver most of the goods, and then all of those goods sometimes get produced into meals, and then they're shipped down to the smaller sites. So under each production kitchen, there's usually 6 to 10 kitchens underneath that production kitchen. And not only do we use those production kitchens to deliver food to, but also when we're distributing equipment, and also when we are doing cluster trainings as well. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So hopefully all of this information is going to generate some curiosity on you, and you can ask all kinds of things because it is quite interesting to see how much is going on within our district. It's like a network of things happening all the time. We serve universal meals. None of our students pay for any other meals. And we have our menu is called, or our concept is called Sandy Coast Cafe. And we're geared towards serving fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins. Let me see. So one of our best sustainable practices is our Love Food Not Waste program, where we secure a lot of the excess meals, and we donate them to hunger relief programs within the city. We have rescued tons and tons of product. I mean, we're more concerned about feeding our students than feeding our landfill, but serving so many meals, there's always going to be leftover food that we can donate to people who need that support. Our menu options include breakfast in the classroom and nutrition break, and we're focused on the quality of our meals. We're emphasizing on doing more scratch cooking. We're doing more local sourcing. We have moved away from a lot of the heat and serve products, but obviously, when you run a big operation like ours, we have to strike a balance between uh, the meals that we produce from scratch and the meals that we serve as heat and serve meals, because it is a massive, massive operation. But also, one of the things that we learned from the pandemic was that without our industry partners, we'll be dead in the water, because during the pandemic, where we could not cook from scratch and we had to serve our community, we relied heavily on our industry partners for them to provide us with the meals that we can serve them. So we don't want we want to cook as much as possible from scratch, but we want to value our partnerships with our industry partners because it's very, very important for food security and for when unexpected, things happen. Okay, can we move on to the next slide? So this is our organizational structure. And this is the people who work at the main office on the graphic on the left. And it is funny because it is a large operation, but we work like I mean, like a mom and pop shop. I mean, everybody knows everybody. I mean, we know the truckers, we know the warehouse people, we know the employees, we know the uh, area managers and the managers and the regionals. We in my group, we have a quality control specialist, we have two dietitians, we have a procurement specialist, and myself. So that's our core food team, and we work together. We've been working together for quite a while, so we all know we're like old marriage couples. you know, when somebody grounds, we know what they want, and when somebody is quiet, we know what's going on, and we understand. And it is funny because it seems like we're all on our own wavelength in our office. We'll be communicating through email, and at the same time, we're screaming across the room, and it just goes back and forth, but we get the job done. And we're always planning ahead our our menus. It's very important for us because on the volumes that we handle, we have to be ahead of the game. And we have to make sure that we secure the product. And we have to make sure that we do the training before we do rollouts of new items. And I'm responsible for overseeing over 60 combi oven units. And for those units, I have to create cooking programs for specific products that we serve. So I think there's another graphic that's probably, oh, there it is. That's it. So this is the structure of our what we call cluster kitchens. So in every production kitchen, there's a food service supervisor, there's an area supervisor, and then under that, there's smaller kitchens, and every kitchen has a site leader. And that's how everything trickles down, from food to equipment to information. And we have a network of trucks that travel throughout those 354 square miles, making sure that everybody has what they need to get the job done and to service our students. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, please. So our menus are designed with our students in mind, and they're designed with flexibility. One of our one of the goals of our model is to do more cooking on site because we believe that the closer we cook to the students, the better the quality is going to be. And that's just a fact of physics. The more detached, the more separated that you are from your customer, the less the quality is going to be. Food, works in a funny way. As soon as you cook it, it will start, um, I don't want to say getting old, but it'll start diminishing in quality. So that's why we like to do as much cooking in our individual kitchens. I'm a big fan of Chef Yuri and their model. I think it has a lot of uh, consistency and a lot of standardization, and there's a lot of quality in the way that his model works. I don't think that their model is worse than our model, or our model is better than their model. I think every kitchen model serves a different purpose, and it works according to the size of the district and the demographics and how the kitchens are organized and all of that, all of those things. So these are four of our main main menus. And right now, these menus have been the best menus we've had ever. We've received so much compliments, not only from students, but also from the staff. And mind you that the staff, in order to produce the meals that we put on these menus, they have to work a little harder. So we would think that because we make them work harder, they would be a little more resistant to the implementation of the menus. But as it turns out, they're cognizant that it's more work, but they feel very proud to be able to serve better food to students. So every time I go out to the field, I get compliments on the menu saying, the students are really enjoying what we're serving, and that makes them feel good about themselves as culinarians, which is very, very important. I think these menus not only have brought better food to students, more scratch cooking, better recipe, it also has elevated morale within our 900 plus employees that we have. Pre-pandemic, we used to have 1,400 employees. We lost around, I don't know, maybe like 500 employees or so. And we're slowly hiring more employees to replace the ones that we lost. But right now we're down like 400 employees after the pandemic, and we haven't been able to recuperate from that. I mean, it's been a uphill battle hiring the labor that we need. But the ones that are still here, they're game. You know, they're ready to take on the challenge. Right now, we're doing overnight roasting of protein 3 times a week, and we're doing scratch baking twice a week, or baking from scratch twice a week. And we just introduced a savory breakfast item in the middle schools, which is the breakfast chilaquiles. And we usually have like sweet uh, items for breakfast, but the students, uh, we're introducing this to the students because we want to make sure that we give them variety, and also we want to reduce the amount of sugar that we serve for breakfast. So we're adventurous, we're trying new things. I know some things are going to work, some things are not going to work, but we're willing to take chances in order for us to provide healthy meals for our students, and also to challenge ourselves to do better. Okay, so on this graphic, you can see kind of the our demographics breakdown. So we have to play to our audience. 46% are Hispanic, and then 24% white, and then 10% African American, and so on and so on. So obviously, our menus are going to be lean a little bit towards the Hispanic inspired entrees and all of that. I mean, that's what keeps our participation up. I mean, we don't want to leave anybody out, and we want to be sensitive to everybody's needs, but we have to be also realistic and do what works. Okay, can we move on to the next slide? And we believe that when you change your tools change you. And we have noticed that with the introduction of new equipment in our schools, and not only new equipment, but new technology, the way that our employees perceive themselves has changed. They perceive themselves more professional, and their morale has risen. We spent over, well, I mean, close to $100,000 in just little utensils like measuring cups, measuring spoons, scales. I mean, we purchased like 240 scales. We own like around 900 knives, and we have like 40 of the commercial blenders, and like 113 immersion blenders. And the reason why we did all of this investment is so that people can do more cooking from scratch, closer to service, closer to our students. We're doing with the immersion blenders, we're doing two speed scratch salsas, a green salsa, a red salsa. We're also doing some homemade dressings with our combi ovens. Like I said, we're doing a lot of overnight roasting. And our combi ovens, they're all connected to the internet, so I can supervise their maintenance habits. I can supervise their HACCP reports for what we cook. I can supervise, their cooking habits. We can tell when people are starting to cook lunch at 7 o'clock in the morning. We go and tap them on the shoulder and say, "Hey, what's going on? It's too early for lunch," because we want to make sure that we provide the freshest meals to our students. One other thing that we're very heavy on is technology. Uh, we created an app that provides rational combi oven resources that I'm creating. And every kitchen has an iPad. All of our 186 kitchens, they have an iPad in the production area where we roll out the recipes. And then within the recipes, I've embedded videos on how to execute those recipes and other resources. And also, like I said, we created an app where I'm breaking down all of the combi oven training into micro trainings, which are 1 to 2 minute trainings on things like combi oven features or troubleshooting or cleaning the unit or I don't know, most common alerts and things like that. So we invest a lot into technology. We're also we're ready to roll out a new app that we're calling the Quality Control Patrol. And with their apps, they're going to be able to send us comments on 3 areas. One of them is going to be questions about recipes. The other one is going to be about cooking equipment issues. And then the third one is going to be on food quality concerns. So whenever any of those three subjects come up, they press the appropriate tab, and then they search for their school name. Then they select that, and then they go into comments, and then they make a comment. Let's say that they receive a case of pork and the package was broken, so they can take a picture of the problem, including all of the information on the packaging. And then all of that information goes directly to me, and then I get back to them with a solution. So we'll be getting information in real time on all of these 3 areas. And the purpose of that is so that we can provide support to our 900 plus employees almost in real time. And so that we make sure that we provide the best support for recipes, quality of product, and cooking equipment issues.
Yeah, and then Juan, sorry to cut you off, but we are running up on time and we have one more breakout room activity.
Sure.
So is this your last slide or did you have any final comments you want
I
to?
don't know. Let's move forward. Let's see what's going on in there. Those are just some pictures of some of the things we cooked from scratch, right? And then let's go to the last. I think that's the last slide. See, I was very close. I know
No,
I'm
you're all good.
long-winded.
Thank you. You have so much great information. It's hard to, I didn't want to have to cut you off, but I
I
appreciate
understand.
I appreciate your presentation, and we are running up on time, so we're not going to have time for questions. But if anyone does have questions for Juan, feel free to put them in the chat or email them to us, and I'm sure we could forward them on to Juan if that sounds good.
Sounds great.
Okay, well, I want to make sure we get done on time, and we have one final activity. So Yuri and Juan, we could let you both go, and we're going to wrap up with our final activity here. But thank you all for joining us. For the apprentices, if you're
Thank
a
you.
Colorado apprentice, at this time you can hop off the call as we're going to do a California specific activity. So, Colorado apprentices, have a great rest of your evening, and we'll see you all soon in a few weeks. For the California apprentices, we're going to do a final, just quick breakout room activity so you can meet your assigned ops specialist. Our ops specialists are the team members who you might see in person on site. Yeah, they'll just be introducing themselves and doing a quick activity. For any Spanish speaking participants, we'll send out the recordings for the breakout rooms with captions afterwards, as we're not able to have an interpreter in every room. But otherwise, Marta, I know we're already at time, so if you could maybe
Yeah,
reduce the breakout room by like a minute, let's make it a little bit
perfect.
shorter, and then
Okay,
you could just send
done.
them into
And
the.
we're ready to go. So everyone you'll meet your up specialist in the breakout rooms.
Okay,
Fun.
see y'all later.